Today we're going to have bright sunny skies. Northwesterly winds turning to southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour as highs climb into the low 90s. The humidity will drop significantly into the teens, creating elevated fire weather risk out to the west in Colorado, but it won't reach red flag criteria. Evening lows will stay mild around 63. Then tomorrow it'll be sunny, windy, and hot with high temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, potentially reaching into the low 100s south of I-70. Southwesterly winds at 20 to 40 miles per hour turning to the northwest will elevate critical fire weather conditions and be a blowing death threat possibility. Overnight, warm and breezy with lows in the mid-60s. Thursday, sunny and cooler, less humid, highs around 85. Northeasterly winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour, clear overnight and a low around 55. This meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware probably has it. They eat and have milk. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
Here's a bright idea. Don't buy the cheapest TP. It's not worth it. You know what is worth it? IdeaTek high-speed fiber internet. IdeaTek delivers seamless high-speed connectivity, and it won't disintegrate at just the worst possible moment. Don't go single-ply when it comes to your connectivity. Go fast and reliable. Reliability and quality, another bright idea from IdeaTek. Get high-speed IdeaTek fiber internet at ideatek.com.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When Tootie calls, they answer.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer and Garrett Wellbrock.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 KLOE and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Discussing it all from the preps to the pros.
Caglione hits it high in the air, deep center field. Dunn springs back at the fence. It's gone! A 2-run blast for Jack Caglione.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
IdeaTek Fiber Internet, Topside Portables and Pumping, the Insurance Agency, Pest Away, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinner, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Rodriguez, well struck right field. See ya. Who is hotter in the world than Adrian Rodriguez? Deep to right, he did it! 13th cycle in franchise history. It's courtesy of Pete Crow Armstrong.
More difficulty, and Garrett absolutely crushes it. Gone to the bleachers and left. Cole, Carrick, touch them all time. A 3-run shot.
Hello
Hello, everybody. Good Tuesday morning. We are back on the Morning Blitz. He's Garrett Wellbrock. I'm Ross Volkmer. Glad you're with us on a beautiful start to a Tuesday morning. Going to be a little bit warmer today. Temperatures into the lower 90s. A little breezy, but not too bad out of the northeast. Tomorrow, hottest day of the week. Temperatures in the lower 90s. Some northwest wind, but a beautiful start to another Tuesday here on the Morning Blitz. Good morning, sir. How are we doing today?
Doing great. It is beautiful out, so that always makes the day better.
If Garrett didn't have what would I want to call that? If he didn't have this scheduled in his planner, he'd be on the links.
Oh yeah,
playing
for
golf
sure.
Right now. How many times do you think you get out a year to play some golf?
Man, I don't know. Last year, I finally got a membership back in Hayes, and I tell you what, I probably played twice a week, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe one time during the week, and then on the weekend. So I was probably playing about 40 rounds last year, I would say, possibly. This year, though, a little different. Maybe 3 times. It's been. I want to get out more. That's for sure. This year.
To be single and to an extent single. Sorry, no offense to him, but to be a single man and not have kids. Yes, golf is great. I used to play a lot more before my kids, and now it's just harder and harder to get out and stuff. Last night I was out at the ball fields for little girl softball, which is kind of like herding chickens. It's kind of like, hey, get over here, stand over here. There you go. Good. All right. So we had a little kid softball game last night on a beautiful night for it, by the way. A lot of fun. But yeah, that's what I do now. I'm dadding it up right now. Just dadding it up. Not dapping it up, dadding it up at this point in time in my life. So I love to play golf, but I just don't get to play it as much as I used to.
Are you one of the coaches on the softball team?
Yeah, I mean, it's de facto kind of. There's only 2 coaches, and when you're in that league, in that age range, you need to have as many hands on deck as possible. So yes, I'm actually the third base coach. They wanted me to send the kids home whenever they get kids down there. So
you an aggressive sender? You're sending them home?
Yeah, that depends. That depends.
Testing the arms, the outfield.
There's no arms in the outfield at this age. There's no arms. These are all little girls that are just trying to learn the game. They're in the outfield. If they stop a ground ball, it's a big win. If they hit the ball hard, it's a humongous win. That kind of stuff. Once again, it's extremely basic. I don't know. When did you start playing baseball when you were a kid? This is something that I think about now a lot since I've got my own kids in it.
I think I started like T-ball when I was 4, I think.
Okay. Man, you're even younger than my own daughter. So.
Yeah. And then I think I started doing the travel stuff at like 9 or 10.
Wow. Yeah. It's just different. I don't know. I don't remember starting at 4. My guess is I was probably 6 or 7, when I started. It's so different now. It's just different how they do it here and it's not that it's a bad thing. It's perfectly fine with me. It's just different than when I grew up with, because I remember everybody batted around. It was like you'd have 9 hitters, and then the last, you wanted to be the last batter.
Yes.
Because that was, if you were the last batter, it meant you were the big hitter.
Yeah.
So you could empty the bases. I remember that. And now it's more of, you get 5, or you get, well, right now I think it's going to change here in a week, but you have, it's coach pitch. You still have, you can strike out your players and things like that. So it's a little bit different, but it's still fun and it's interesting and it's fun to watch the kids learn over the course of the season. So I'm excited to see where they sit here coming up when the season comes to an end at the beginning of July. But it's another interesting night. Anytime I get out there to help these kids learn the game, it's always interesting, to say the very least. Always very interesting. The equipment's too big, helmets don't fit, the catcher gear just drapes over them. It's funny all at the same time. But anyway, glad you're with us here on the Morning Blitz. Today's show, lots to get to. Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald is going to join us. We'll talk a little bit Nebraska news, and we'll also touch base with him on the College World Series. He's there doing some coverage for the Omaha World Herald on the men's CWS, which we are down to the final. Well, yes, we are. No, not quite yet. We are close.
6, I believe, right?
Yep. We were down to the final 6 teams. There is a doubleheader again today. After yesterday, you saw, who was it? Alabama got sent home in just crushing fashion. They were blasted by Texas 14-2. Adrian Rodriguez had a ridiculous day. He hit for the cycle and drove in 7. That was a good day at the office, to say the very least, for Texas's player. And then, so Alabama went home, and then in the nightcap, you had Oklahoma hold on, beat Georgia. Like you've said before, they're kind of the hottest team right now. Kind of came in that 2 seed, had to go to, golly, where were they in the first round? They weren't at home.
It was Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
That's right. They had to beat Georgia Tech, and then they had to beat KU and Lawrence, and now they're 2-0 in the College World Series right now, sitting in that catbird seat along with North Carolina, which right now, if you had to put odds on it, that's probably going to be your national championship game at this point in time. And then we'll have today you've got West Virginia, Troy, followed by Texas, Georgia in 2 elimination games that get played today over in Omaha. So that is, yes. So that's what's on tap for today. And we'll get Evan Bland's thoughts on more of that coming up in segment 2. And we also have our first ever edition today of Trivia Tuesday with Lucas Kenny. He'll be our host. He will join us in studio, and he will be our host for Trivia Tuesdays, which look forward to having him on with a few handful of questions for us to try and answer. Look forward to that here today. We'll be talking about the big news yesterday about Brendan Sorsby. He is now not going to be playing for Texas Tech. The story that just continues to go around and around in circles, and then a pair of interesting baseball stories I found yesterday. I want to get kind of our resident baseball expert, Garrett Wellbrock's thoughts on such interesting stories, even though they have nothing to do with baseball.
Yeah, they really don't. They really don't.
But honestly, they could apply to lots of different things. And so we'll get to that here coming up in a little bit. But before we dive into that, of course, remember, FNB Bank text line is open, 785-899-2222. If you want to be part of the Morning Blitz, you can hit us up there with your thoughts, your comments, and your questions. Or you can, of course, comment on YouTube, Facebook, and X through the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. The Rockies and the Royals both losing last night. The Royals losing one last night where they got down. They were briefly up 3-2, and then a big 5-run 5th inning there by the Nationals kind of put them behind the 8 ball. They could not get back. Mitch Spence takes the loss in his Royals debut, allowing 6 runs in 4+ innings. But the Royals continue to do something that a lot of people didn't think they would do this year, and that's just continue to lose baseball games. They've lost a lot of those at this point in time, it seems like. So that's going on right now. But the Rockies game was more interesting, I guess, if you want to put that. The Rockies trailed late in this game. I think it was 2-1 was the score. They trailed probably, I think it was in the 8th, and then you had Cole Carrig come up and a 3-run blast as he goes out there and continues his hot start. It's a 3-run blast. They lead 4-2, but the Colorado bullpen, epic meltdown last night. Not only did they allow a couple hits, but they walked batters, and then it was Mejia who was in relief who ended up airmailing a throw to second base out into center field, which would have been a double play to get him out of an inning. It loaded the bases up, and then they walked in after the game-tying hit. They walked in the winning run, did Halverson, to lose 5-4 to the Cubs last night. I watched it live. It was an epic meltdown. It's one of those games where you're just glad you're not a fan.
Yeah,
you're just watching just as a baseball fan, not really a fan of a team, because that is painful to watch. You have the lead, but you throw it away. Literally, you throw it away because you threw a ball into center field on an easy double play, what should have been an easy double play, and then you allow someone to come in on a walk ball on a base loaded ball 4. Ugh.
Yeah, that's part of the rebuild, and as the Royals have seen in the past, and me as a Mariners fan, I've seen this in the past. It's just part of it. That's kind of the weak link, especially when you start a rebuild, is your bullpen. And obviously the Rockies have had a struggling bullpen the past several seasons now. But yeah, those are the games you hope to win, but it's just part of the growing pains. Also, shout out to PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong,
yes.
A cycle. I was 4 for 4. I got the notification that he got. I was like, man, that's like the 6th inning.
Yeah,
it took 4 at-bats to do it. That's pretty impressive.
The first ever, I don't know who keeps these stats. The first ever reverse cycle in Cubs history, because he went homer, triple, double, single. That's how he went. Homer, triple, double, single. The first ever reverse cycle, because the regular cycle would be single, double, triple, and then home run. But he went reverse cycle, did PCA.
That's the easiest way to do it. I feel like get all the hard stuff out early.
That's right. Make it easy. And so, yeah, the reverse cycle for PCA, which was exciting to watch, but golly, that was a meltdown for the Rockies. Jack Corrigan, the longtime voice of the Rockies. Here is the call of the final play of that game.
Matt Shaw in an ideal spot. 3-1 here with the bases loaded. Ball 4. That's the game.
He knew what was coming.
Walk it off with 2 in the ninth. 5-4 the final.
That's a man who's been there before way too much recently.
And there's nothing worse than a walk-off walk. I mean, they didn't even have to try at the plate. You just gave it to him.
You did. They did. They absolutely gave it to him. I mean, did you they had a great question during the telecast. I was watching it on the Cubs broadcast, and they had a question that they were talking about in the booth. Said, how can pitchers who are people who learn how to throw a ball so fast, so hard, so accurately, not be able to throw the ball around the bases accurately? Because Mejia just threw that thing to second base and it out into center field. I mean, how is that possible?
I feel like it's probably a pressure thing. Obviously, you got to make a quick play. You're not used to it. And then also like just moving your body around like a pitcher trying to throw to second base is a lot different than in your mechanics going to home plate. I know you have more margin of air going to a bag or thrown to a base than you do to home plate, obviously, because the fielders can, use their arms to try and make a catch. But yes, I think it's probably just the pressure of you in your head, you think, oh, I got to make this play so quick, but yet you have time. I think that's one thing that pitchers don't realize. They have more time than they think.
Yeah. Well, he had just completely flew that thing out into center field, and that was the beginning of the end. Colorado now 27-46 going into game 2 tonight. Royals, they have game 2 tonight against the Nationals. First pitch, 5:45 Central on KXXX, AM 790. Michael Wacha on the mound for Kansas City tonight in game number 2. News yesterday, big news yesterday, probably the news of the day yesterday in the sports world was the news of Brendan Sorsby. He is out at Texas Tech. I would say this is by his own decision, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like. I don't know if it's just he doesn't want to deal with all the drama and stuff right now for the college football season, but I think it's a smart move to make. Now, not to say that I don't know what his draft stock is going to look like. It sounds like it's probably not too high because it wasn't like he had a great season last year at Cincinnati, but it'll be interesting to see the upcoming months what takes place.
So for those who don't know, Brendan Sorsby, of course, over the course of his college football career has made over 400 bets, bet almost $100,000 in gambling, even sometimes on his own team when he was at Indiana. He's been in Indiana, Cincinnati, and now he was at Texas Tech for this year, going to be making over $5 million to play quarterback for a team that was scheduled and slated probably to go to the college football playoff this year, once again, after going there last year. And Sorsby has been, of course, he's been found guilty of gambling. He has been recently going through gambling addiction classes, trying to get himself under control. And then, of course, the big whole hullabaloo about how he still wants to find a way to play despite gambling on his own team, which is a humongous no-no. Should have been, quote unquote, the death penalty of college sports. Don't do that. You'll never play college sports again. But because, once again, lots of money and lawyers, you can sue your way. And he got his lawyers to find a little bit of a crack in some of the wording, and they exploited that, and he earned himself a chance. He as of right now, I mean, until he decided to take himself out of the race here, he was still in line to be able to play after a 2-game suspension. He was still in line to play for Texas Tech this coming fall because of the wording of what they found. But the pressure, I'm guessing, from the Big 12 conference, which pressured down on Texas Tech as a university, which bled down into the program, which I'm sure bled to him, and all the outside noise as well, just found like it kind of became the final straw that broke the camel's back. And Sorsby has pretty much said, I'm not going to play this next year. I'm not going to continue my college career. I'm going to try and get ready for the supplemental NFL draft and see what happens there. I think, honestly, for his mental health, it's probably the best thing for him. You think about it. Think about the crowds and the reaction that he would have gotten from all kinds of people over the course of a football season, even if he was at home to win, and especially when he was on the road playing games. Can you imagine the type of verbal abuse that he would have gotten?
Yeah, it would have been
playing.
It would have been really nasty, really nasty.
And so I look at this story and I give a lot of credit to Brendan Sorsby. He just took himself out of the race, and this is the right thing to do for all parties. He's out. He can focus on himself, and then the rest of the college football world can put down their knives and their pitchforks and all this stuff. Because if he was able to play, there was going to be some real rioting going on.
Absolutely, yes. I 100% agree. I think it was just kind of just to make life easier on himself, really. I mean, it would, like you said, it would have been every single road game would have been a bloodbath, for him. So I think it's a good thing for Texas Tech, honestly, too. It seems they get that kind of monkey off their back as well as him. Probably the best decision on both parties.
And it's upcoming here this Monday is the deadline to be in for the supplemental draft. And so he kind of had to make a decision here recently if he wanted to continue to try to go through this process. And there was still a shot that he wouldn't get to play this year because the NCAA was trying to expedite what do they call that? Help me out here, Garrett. Why can't I think about that? Expedite an appeal to say, well, we're not going to let this happen. And then if that went through and he decided to stay, he might just be sitting on the sideline watching the whole season and not doing anything. And for a guy who has really no connection to this team and no connection really into these teammates, why not just get ready for the supplemental draft with your 1 year that you've got? So it's part of my belly and my gut says he's going to change his mind on the 21st and say, never mind, I'm going to go do for this. So I don't believe it till I see it. But Brendan Sorsby not going to be playing for Texas Tech this year in Ghana. I think it's such a huge thing. Can you imagine the pressure that was getting put down upon Texas Tech from like Brett Yormark? Can you imagine the calls that his phone was getting from all kinds of people? All the athletic directors at Kansas State were calling him. The NCAA was calling him. They were ringing up his phone every single day. He had a statement that he released this morning. He talked about how it was a very stressful couple of weeks. No doubt. Mm-hmm. No doubt it was. Can you just imagine the amount of pressure that certain people were under at this point in time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there were people that were even wanting Texas Tech out of the league, honestly. Yeah. I mean, that's a very bold statement, and obviously I don't believe the Big 12 would ever want to do that, but a lot of pressure for the commissioner.
Yeah. So Brendan Sorsby out at Texas Tech. Real quickly, I got to get to a couple quick stories here before we get to break the Amber. So don't want to spend a lot of time on these, but I saw these these interesting stories in baseball that really had nothing with baseball. What were your thoughts on the Giants? So the Giants recently were wearing uniforms on their different hats for Pride Day, Pride Night that they were doing there at the uniform, and some pitchers put Bible verses on their hats. Pretty much saying that we don't agree with the hat that we have. One guy did just decide to wear his typical San Francisco Giants hat and not put anything on it himself. What are your thoughts on this? I have a few minor thoughts on this.
I mean, I don't see it being an issue. I guess it is to the MLB. They don't want the two kind of going hand in hand. But I mean, at least for, the pitcher we have on the screen, I think what was his name? I don't even remember his name.
There were like four guys.
3
or 4 guys.
The starting pitcher who wrote the Bible verse, like he still wore the hat. It wasn't like he didn't wear the hat at all. I saw a couple guys that didn't even wear, the Pride Night hat. It's people doing what they believe, and I know a lot of people have been fired up about it. I don't really have. To me, it's not a big deal, in my opinion, but I guess to some it is.
I feel like to an extent, unless they're paying for sponsorship, for example, like a patch on a uniform or something like that, can't we just keep the uniforms generic and basic? I mean, if you don't believe or it goes against your beliefs for certain things that you have to have on your uniform because that's what the team wants to do, I don't like that one bit. You should be able to do you should be able to just wear the uniform that represents the team that you play for, and that's it. You don't need to be representing something that the team or the franchise stands for if you don't have to agree with it. Just keep it generic. They didn't have to have a hat like that. I mean, what if the Giants came out and said, we believe in that you should be able to kill puppies? Well, no one likes to kill puppies, so who are they going to do? Why are they going to wear stuff to support that? Once again, I know that's a far-fetched comparison there, but at the same time, I mean, just keep it simple, plain Jane, and then you don't have any of these issues. You tried to overstep a little bit here. I think I put the Giants at fault and not the players. I put the Giants at fault. Just keep it generic. Just keep it generic.
And they're not the only team either. I saw the Dodgers too did this, and I think it was Blake Trine. I think Kansas kid. He didn't wear the hat either. He just wore the normal LA Dodgers hat, and that got a lot of backlash as well.
Just leave the uniforms alone. You don't have to put anything on the uniform to support any group or any organization. Just leave them generic. Leave them generic. That's all. And then you don't have any extra problems that happen with this. Just
you know what they could do is like what they could do is, if the players wanted to, it could be like a cleat thing, like you see in the NFL, guys wearing custom cleats. Well, if you want to wear a custom cleat, that's the night you can wear it, and I think they can't, like, it's not like illegal or a rule for any MLB players to not wear whatever they want when it comes to their cleats and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, that could be a certain night where you show some of that.
I looked at that story and I read it. And I was like, God, you could have prevented a lot of this if you just kept the uniform basic. You don't need to be out here supporting these groups and things like this. You can do something in the stadium. You can do something like that. You don't have to put it on the players. That's not their thing. That's not their bucket of water to carry. If it's not their thing, just keep it generic. And you don't have to bring these things to the forefront. You don't have to. Would have been an easy solve. We're right at the bottom of the hour. I would love to get to the story about MLB nepotism. We may have to touch on that in the walk-off. We'll try to get to that in the walk-off a little bit. There's an interesting story about nepotism in Major League Baseball that I want to get to as well. Let's get to a break. We'll come back. Omaha World Herald's Evan Bland set to join us next. We'll talk to him about the Men's College World Series and update. We're down to the last 6 in the men's CWS. We'll get with him next in the Morning Blitz.
Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland is rolling into summer with big offers on new GMCs. Get a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 elevation with $7,000 customer cash with trade-in or 0% for 60 months plus no pay for 90 days. Need heavy duty? Get the 26 GMC Sierra 2500 with $1,000 in rebates or 4.9% for 48 months. Plus save on 26 GMC Terrain and Arcadias with over $1,000 in rebates when you finance with GM Financial. See Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, or online at hurlchef.com. GMC, professional grade.
From drive-through banking to mobile deposit, we make it easy to get things done on your schedule. Banking should fit your life, not the other way around. This is Jessica Von Lintel at F&B Bank. Banking made simple.
In a small town, your banker should know more than just your account number. They should know your name. At F&B Bank, we believe in real conversations, friendly faces, and decisions made right here at home. I'm Paige Sneathen, Vice President at F&B Bank, and we're proud to serve your family like our own. Member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Tyler Ghost with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas with your morning market update. It is Tuesday, June the 16th. Overnight sessions have commodities set to open lower. July corn down 1 3/4 at 413 3/4. And September is down 1 1/4 at 421 1/2. And the December is down 1 1/4 as well at 440 1/2. Beans on the July are down 10 cents at 1109 1/4. The September is down 8.5 cents at 1113 1/4. And November is down 7 3/4 at 1127. Kansas City wheat on the July is down 3.5 cents at 636 1/2. The September is down 1 3/4 at 643 1/2. And the December is down 1 1/4 at 657 1/4. Chicago wheat on the July is up 4 1/4 at 594. September up 3 cents at 603 1/2. The December is up 2 3/4 at 619 1/2. S&P 500 is unchanged at 7,627. The Dow is up 141 points at 52,270. NASDAQ down 28 points at 30,836. Crude oil down $3.09 a barrel at $76.35. Gold is up $24 an ounce at $4,376, and silver is up $1.07 an ounce at $71.25. If you have any cash grain you'd like to move or want to learn more about our freedom pricing tools, reach out and give us a call. You can reach myself, Tyler Ghost, Jared Law, or Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000. you're out in Colorado, give John Hanke or John Stiles a call at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
If you want to really protect your corn and soybean acres, you need to take your protection to a whole new level with Elevest Insect Control. Elevest Insect Control provides fast-acting
Homeowners Trust. Schedule your free home inspection today at gothrasher.com.
Want to be part of the Morning Blitz?
Sometime I'll give you a piece of my mind, like right now.
Send your thoughts to the F&B Bank text line at 785-899-2222.
Don't forget, today it is a Ticket Tuesday here at the radio stations of NWKS Radio. You can stop into the station in either Goodland or Colby, pick up a paper ticket, and avoid online ticket fees for our upcoming, of course, phenomenal concert featuring Colin Ray. That's a week from this Saturday on the 27th of June. You go see Colin Ray with Walker Montgomery, but it is a Ticket Tuesday. Go into the stations, get yourself a paper ticket, and avoid the online ticket fees. Tickets are still available online. You can receive them digitally and pay with a card if you'd like to. Go to nwksradio.net. But go check out 8 to 12, 8 to noon, and 1 to 5 is when you locally is where you want to go to your station to get your paper tickets on a Ticket Tuesday here for NWKS Radio and our big upcoming summer concert here a week from this Saturday featuring Colin Ray and Walker Montgomery. All right, let's go to the phones. Waiting patiently, our good friend from the Omaha World Herald. That's Evan Bland. Good morning, Evan. How are we doing today?
Doing great, Ross. How are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks again for joining us. I want to start with the College World Series. I know you kind of follow that a little bit off and on for the Omaha World Herald. What are your thoughts so far through the first, 4 days of this tournament?
Well, I think the first thing you got to note is the weather's been about as gorgeous as it could possibly be at this event. Typically, you're battling mid-90s temperatures and a heat stroke and these different things. You got to stay hydrated. It's been very, very nice for the most part. Mid to upper 70s, low 80s. Just had the brief rain delay on Saturday night, but otherwise it's been smooth sailing. Same thing, I think, for the outlook for the next couple of days. And the baseball's been good too. I mean, West Virginia's had its moment, winning its first ever College World Series game. Troy did the same thing a couple of days ago. Cool moment for them. You've had your big boys from the SEC doing what they're doing. North Carolina, which has never won a national title, is 2-0 and in good position to make the final. So maybe the star power is a little bit less than what it has been in the past few events in terms of individual players, but I think the team storylines, the game action, all that's been great stuff. We had Adrian Rodriguez for Texas hit for the cycle yesterday. So a little bit of everything. If you like pitching, if you like hitting, if you like good food, the College World Series has had all of that so far.
That was kind of what my first question was going to be like, with now the team starting to simmer down a little bit, now down to 6. Just looking at it with these last 6, what might be the biggest storyline coming up here in the next couple of days leading up to the finals?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the teams that are 2-0, and history would tell you, I think it's now 29 of the last 35 College World Series champions have started 2-0. So that would tell you that North Carolina and Oklahoma would have the inside track on dogpiling next week. Both of those teams were not the main favorites all season. North Carolina kind of zagged when everyone else zigged in terms of power. They're not a super long ball heavy sort of team. They're going to do a lot of hit and runs, stolen bases, sacrifices, things like that. So that's a team that's well equipped, really deep pitching, as deep as anybody in the field. And like I said, they've been in the finals a couple of times, lost to Oregon State back in the day, but they haven't ever finished the thing. So that will be a storyline, especially if they're able to advance to the final. And Oklahoma, kind of the same thing, like in a league where it's about the long ball and the walk, sort of the three true outcomes approach. They're going to steal bases, and they're going to advance the runner with a productive out or lay down a bunt or whatever it might be. I think they finished 11th in the conference standings this year, which just tells you how deep that league really is. So if those two teams meet, it'll be a little bit of a different style of offense than what we've seen so far. But the defense for both is strong. The pitching for both is deep in terms of their starters and their bullpen. And so you would think that's the way it would go. If it doesn't, it does seem like Texas could be that team that would come out of the loser's side of the bracket. They'd have to play and beat Georgia tonight, and then they'd have to win twice again just to make the final. But the Longhorns obviously are a physical team, uber talented. They've been a top 3 or 4 club all season, so we'll see if they're able to do it. But like I said, history tells you when you go 2-0 in this format, the odds of you dogpiling are pretty high.
Evan Bland is our guest, the Omaha World Herald, joining us on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline, talking about the Men's College World Series up in Omaha. The other side of the bracket from Texas and those guys, West Virginia's in there, so is Troy. How exciting has it been? And you see this almost every year at the College World Series, especially recently, seeing some of these teams that don't get the opportunities to be in this very often, these newbies, if you want to call them that. What is it like, the mix of teams between the newbies and kind of the returners that you see a lot of time, like Texas?
Yeah, I like the makeup this year. I think you always want 1 or 2 underdog type teams that local fans can latch onto, but you also want a good number of power brands that bring their fan bases, that make this an exciting national event. And I think that balance was struck this year. West Virginia's kind of has one foot in both camps, I would say. I mean, they've never been to Omaha, but their fan base has absolutely taken over downtown. They've been killing it with the Jello Shot Challenge, and Pat McAfee, who's a famous alum, was broadcasting for ESPN there on site last Friday. So there's a lot of excitement from that program. Certainly Troy fits the description of an underdog, a regional 3 seed that surprised its way through the NCAA tournament. Legitimately looked the part in eliminating Mississippi a couple of days ago. That was impressive. They have some stars. We'll see if they're able to endure a little bit. But then, you have the kind of the all SEC side of the bracket with teams like Texas, obviously, that have more of a storied history really than almost any other program. This is their 39th appearance in Omaha, by far the most of anybody in college baseball. And Georgia's back for the first time since 2008. I think they brought a following here. So I think there's a lot of excitement for this event, and kind of a quirk in that there are no repeat qualifiers either. You think about the 8 that were here last year and the 8 that are here now, it's a totally different group. So there is this, I think, an added level of excitement. And when you have a team that wins their first game, like West Virginia beating Troy and then singing Country Roads with its fans and with its, I think, probably new adopted fans in Omaha, that was a pretty cool sight. So, a little bit of new history and then a little bit of, blue blood action. I think when you put those two together, that makes the event probably at its strongest. And we've certainly seen that again this year.
I feel like coaching in this whole tournament is so important. You got to have a really good staff, and Skip Johnson at Oklahoma has been really just doing a great job there these last few seasons. They made the finals in 22, and now here they are in the driver's seat again in 2026. What have you seen out of the Sooners in these first 2 games, and why does it feel like they have a really good shot after kind of being a nobody coming into this entire NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite the story, really. I mean, Georgia was the regular season SEC champ, won the tournament, the league tournament, and Oklahoma was sort of an also ran in both of those events, and I think part of it's just the nature of baseball, part of it's getting hot at the right time, and then I think their team is probably constructed well to win in Omaha. Like you often hear about the discussion where a team can be built to win the SEC, but sometimes the qualities to win in a bigger park where games are spread out a little bit more than they are in a standard weekend, sometimes those strengths change a little bit. And I think I'd put North Carolina in that group too, where a team like Georgia, I mean, they had, I think it was 20 more home runs than the next closest team in college baseball, which is kind of absurd. But that advantage is negated a little bit when you have more spacious dimensions at Schwab Field. Maybe the wind's blowing in, you're facing elite arms, and there's just not that ability to score in a lot of different ways. I think that's probably one of the things that Oklahoma's done well, certainly this week, has been, they can hit the long ball, but they can do it in a bunch of different ways. They're going to get guys on base. They're not afraid to execute and move them over. The starting pitching has been very good. Again, holding down Georgia last night in the winners bracket game. So I think they're just constructed a little bit differently, and it's sort of an ironic twist a little bit where that style maybe held them down a little bit in the SEC, but now that they're in Omaha and the setting is a little bit different, it might be the thing that helps propel them over the top.
Evan Bland, our guest, Omaha World Herald. Evan, before I let you go, I had a couple of quick Nebraska questions for you. First and foremost, Nebraska baseball saw this past weekend that shortstop Dylan Carey won the Shortstop of the Year award. Talk about just his transformation from kind of being a guy who was good to becoming but did not get drafted. I know that motivated him this previous offseason to this year to where he is right now. And then we haven't talked to you since kind of the season came to an end for the Nebraska baseball team, which you cover on a full-time basis. Your thoughts kind of as they put a period on the 2026 season.
Yeah, well, I mean, in a lot of ways, those two topics are intertwined. The season that Nebraska had was in large part because of what Dylan Carey was able to do. I mean, he fielded at an elite clip. He was part of the reason that Nebraska had its best defensive season by fielding percentage in school history, and just a really cool individual story. Like you mentioned, a guy who had every intention of looking at pro ball opportunities last summer. The coaching staff anticipated that he would do that. They actually brought in players to play shortstop in anticipation of him moving on. Doesn't get those opportunities. Crushing moment for him and his family. But instead of sulking, he gets to work. He works on his power stroke. That was the thing that scouts and evaluators told him was, look, your glove play is at the next level, but you need to have more pop in your bat. And so he went out and worked on that. And you look up at the end of this season, and he's got, I think it was 14 or 15 home runs, led the team in that category. Continued to be a great leader, a great defender, came through in clutch moments, and was a major part of why Nebraska did what it did. So great on him. I'm sure he'll get a chance this next month, whether through the draft or free agency, to continue his career, and he's certainly earned that. I think for Nebraska baseball, I mean, you host a regional and you go 1-2, which is obviously disappointing, but I think you got to consider this season a success because of the fact that they played postseason baseball in Lincoln, Nebraska for the first time since 2008. And I think there were a number of years recently where the team would articulate, hey, we want to host a regional. And, you kind of get the eye rolls and okay, it's hard to do. I'm not sure they're still able to do that. And I think it opened a lot of eyes that they went out and were able to secure a national seed and be the host. And so I think there's momentum behind the program. They're going to have a lot of players to replace next year. They have a strong junior college class coming in particular. So we'll see how that resets. But just the fact that they were ranked for much of the season, I think they were as nationally relevant as they've been, in probably more than 10 years, just being consistently in the polls. And I think there's just a lot of excitement for what this team can be as now it undergoes a clubhouse renovation. It increases its scholarship contributions. You look at Ole Miss and Arizona State which were in its regionals, they were fully funded in terms of every player had a scholarship. Nebraska had about half of its roster scholarship, and that number is going to go up here in the next couple of years until they're fully funded as well. So as much as they were able to do this year, I think there's excitement with added resources that they can maybe even take the next step here into the future.
Evan, one more question for you. I know we're in the off season, but it's also a heavy time recruiting football, and Nebraska's kind of been on a little bit of a heater when it comes to football recruiting. What is the feeling around the football program? It feels like it's very just kind of workmanlike at this point in time. What's the read there a little bit closer?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, football locally has probably not been front of mind for about as long as it possibly could in this area, given its history and everything. I mean, they had the early spring ball that wrapped up in March, and since then players have either been working out on their own on campus or they've been away from campus. This has been a busy recruiting month, certainly for Nebraska. Their 2027 quarterback commit, Trey Taylor, got his 5th recruiting star, which was pretty exciting. They had a busy stretch here in recent weeks with some 2027 recruiting ads. So they found some momentum there, but you haven't seen the podcasts from Matt Rule. You haven't seen the behind the scenes documentaries this year, like we've seen in past years. And so, yeah, I think there's this recognition that anything that they say outside of winning games and proving it sort of rings hollow at this point. I think fans are just ready to see the result. Like, I don't think they are all that interested in some of the lead up to the games, maybe as they would be in past years. So I think the program recognizes that. It's been a head down and work sort of off season. They obviously had a strong portal class that they brought in. They feel like they're in a position to, win 7-8 games and make a bowl and maybe be a CFP factor into November. So we'll see how all that shakes out. But I think probably the biggest credit you can give the program right now is they can read the room and they can say people just want to see those results. So keep it quiet, keep working, and we'll see you in July when fall camp gets rolling.
Evan, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it, my friend. Thanks for doing this. We'll talk again soon.
Appreciate it, Ross. Take care.
Once again, that is Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald joining us there on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline, talking a little bit, once again, mostly about the Men's College World Series, which continues to roll along in Omaha, and then talking about, of course, Nebraska athletics as well, wrapping up there. Speaking of wrapping up, we'll wrap up this second segment. Up next, Lucas Kenny joins the show for the first ever edition of Trivia Tuesday. That's next here on the Morning Blitz.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware probably has it. They even have milk. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
Want the latest devices and great service? You'll find both at Next Tech Wireless. Right now, when you bring your number to us, you can get unlimited data plus the iPhone 17 for as low as $25 a month. That's the phone you want, the coverage you need, and the price that fits your budget. Why pay more somewhere else? Make the switch, keep your number, and start saving today. Next Tech Wireless, 20 years of connecting Kansas.
Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland is rolling into summer with big offers on new GMCs. Get a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 elevation with $7,000 customer cash with trade-in or 0% for 60 months plus no payments for 90 days. Need heavy duty? Get the 26 GMC Sierra 2500 with $1,000 in rebates or 4.9% for 48 months. Plus save on 26 GMC Terrain and Arcadias with over $1,000 in rebates when you finance with GM Financial. See Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas or online at earlchev.com. GMC, professional grade.
Your business was built right here. So was ours. At FNB Bank, we are not run from some distant city. We are run by neighbors for neighbors. We know what matters to you because it matters to us too. From local decisions to face-to-face service, we are here. Bank local, grow local, stay local. FNB Bank, member FDIC.
Treat Dad this Father's Day with great gifts from Menards. From levels, nailers, and drills to complete any project, to tool chests, recliners, and grills. We've got the perfect gifts to make this Father's Day one to remember. Stop by your local Menards today and save big money on gifts for Dad. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
From the locker room to your morning commute, it's all sports, all the time.
That's what I'm talking about. Sport!
On the Morning Blitz.
All right, we got about 6 to 8 minutes left to go in the hour here today on the Morning Blitz. Thanks to Evan Bland. Also, thanks, of course, to you, the listener, for chiming in as well. It's time for our first ever edition. I've been wanting to do this for a really long time, but it's hard to do trivia all by yourself. So it just doesn't work real good. So we are going to have some fun here in this final segment here on a Tuesday. We hope to make this a stalwart as we welcome into the program fellow NWKS radio staffer. He handles the news, hosts the Good Neighbor Hour. But it is time for some Trivia Tuesday with our man, Lucas Kenny. Good morning, Lucas. How are we doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty fantastic here on this Tuesday. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thanks
Doing
so
well.
much.
Doing well.
Appreciate you asking. Let's get right to it with some Trivia Tuesday. Why don't we? I even got some trivia music for us. All right, Lucas, hit us up with Trivia Tuesday. Said he's got 4 questions for us. We'll see if we can get these right. If you want to hit up on the FB Bank text line with your answer, we'll see those as well.
It's definitely going to test your guys' ball knowledge here.
Oh, God.
All right, first one up here. It's kind of specific, if I'm being honest. What is the name of the cornerback for the Kansas City Chiefs who picked off Jimmy Garoppolo in Super Bowl 54 on the 49ers' final drive to seal the victory for the Chiefs?
Oh, man.
I told you it's going to test your ball knowledge.
Can I just say a last name?
Sure.
Watson.
No.
Dang it.
Is it?
That's a great guess.
Kendall Fuller?
Hey, bingo. There we go.
Oh,
nice.
hold on. I got stuff for this. Oh, no. Where's that at? There we go. Nice. Okay. What do you got?
All righty. This next one, we've been talking a little bit about some salary caps, so I found this one pretty interesting. The NBA created the very first hard salary cap in U.S. pro sports history, which caps team spending at $3.6 million. What year or what season was the salary cap introduced?
Is it 3.6 million?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's a while ago then. I'll just throw out a date. I'll say 1977.
Not quite.
I'm so glad you said that because I was going to say it. I'm going to go with God, the NBA was really starting to get wrong. I'm going to say, how about 74?
Not quite. You're about a decade off.
60?
Oh. It was actually a little bit later.
80?
It was the 84-85 season.
Okay.
Yep. I did see somebody texted that answer, and Brian said 85. You would be correct.
Way to go, Brian. Nice work.
This next one, a little bit of golf knowledge here. So Jack Nicklaus leads the all-time leaderboard for most major wins with 18 and 6 Masters wins. Tiger Woods follows behind him with 15 majors and 5 Masters wins. Walter Hagen is third all-time with 11 majors, but how many Masters wins does he have?
I think it's a trick question. 0.
And that would be correct.
Wow.
He is the only one in the top 6 all-time major wins with 0 Masters.
Walter Hagen. Anybody ever watch movies with Walter Hagen, how he's depicted? He was just a drunken womanizer. That's all he was. That's all he was Walter Hagen.
All right, this last one has a little bit to do with Kansas. Out of all of the NFL Hall of Fame players, only 3 Kansans are enshrined in Canton, Ohio. Can you name all 3?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if I...
These are it's like Kansans as in they were born in, their hometown.
Born and went to their hometown is in Kansas.
Oh, Barry Sanders, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
He's Barry Sanders. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Who was the running back for KU for a while? Is Riggins in there?
Yes, sir.
Riggins.
John Riggins.
Nice.
He's from Centralia.
Okay.
Is
Riggins.
Is this guy's name like Gale? Am I?
Gale
sir.
Sayers?
Yeah.
He's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Or at least I couldn't find him on the list.
No, he has to. Your kid, no way. I'm sorry. I have to check that. That can't be right. Maybe he's not.
Unless he was in the last couple of years, and I just couldn't find it in any lists. I looked in like 3 or 4 different
Yes,
lists.
Gale Sayers is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, inducted in 1977. He has the record for being the youngest person ever enshrined at just 34 years old.
Huh. So maybe I wasn't looking.
Okay,
in the
but
right
we're
place
still
for that
missing one from the
Yes.
state of Kansas.
Yeah.
I would give a hint. They're from McDonald. I don't think that helps.
Real Dan Lankus?
No, sir.
Okay.
What position? What position?
Oh, if I remember looking correctly, actually I don't know if I here one second here.
Oh, quick research. Quick research. On Trivia Tuesday with Lucas Kenny, our final question.
Offensive and defensive tackle.
Oh my gosh.
That ain't gonna help me at all.
I have no clue. Who I think
Yeah.
we're throwing the towel. Who is? Wait, hold on. Did anybody in the text line chime in?
I
No,
don't
nobody
believe
did.
so.
All right, what do we got?
One of a very, very early player, Link Lyman is
Link
his name.
Lyman.
Mm.
Would have never got it. Never heard of Link Lyman.
Link Lyman, the lineman.
But that's a pretty good name, though.
Yes.
Trivia Tuesday with Lucas Kenny. Lucas, that's a lot of fun and excellent work.
Yes. Thank you.
Fantastic stuff. Stick around for us here as we get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off three? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
This walk-off is going to be an interesting one because I want to talk about nepotism in Major League Baseball. It's very odd, but there's a story going around. Angels executive Eddie Gardardo, his son, he was a longtime closer for the Twins, was Gardardo, but his son now has a major league contract, and his longtime friend Jacob has a major league contract now. But it's funny because if you visit with I love this in the quote, there were some former college coaches who faced off against these guys and said, there's no way these guys are pro baseball players. What do you think on this, Garrett?
Oh, I don't think they're talking about nepotism and how that's, it shouldn't be there. I mean, it's everywhere though. Not just baseball. You see nepotism everywhere. You see in the NBA. I mean, LeBron and Bronny James, I think if you've earned that right, I think you have, connections are everything. So I don't see it as that big of a deal.
He just nailed my ultimate quote I tell everybody. It is never what you know in this world, gentlemen. It's who you know.
Mm-hmm.
That is what matters. You could be the dumbest person in the world, but if you know the right people, you can get anywhere. It is never what you know, but it is who you know. And that is why it works. But it still is an interesting story. I just love how the coach was like, those guys couldn't really play great at NAIA level. And they got major league contracts. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it's not what
really.
you know. It's who you know.
Yep.
Lucas, thanks, my friend.
Absolutely.
Great job. Lucas Kenny there with Trivia Tuesday. For Garrett Wellbrock, I'm Ross Volkmer. Thanks for joining us. We're back on a Wednesday. We'll see you then. It's been the Blitz.